Magandang araw, Podmates! Ang lapit na ng eleksyon. Ano-ano ang pwedeng mangyari? Paano kayo makakatulong sa pagbabantay ng boto? May guest tayo ngayon para magbigay liwanag, Myla Villanueva, Chairperson of the PPCRV or the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting. Magandang araw sa iyo, Myla.
Magandang araw, Howie, and thank you very much for inviting me. Yes, it's almost election day.
You have a huge job of critical importance. Isa kayong Voters Education at Watchdog Group, tagabantay ng boto. Sinabi niyo sa umpisa ng taon na kinakailangan niyo ng 500,000 volunteers because you're a volunteer organization, no?
Well, let's talk about election day muna, no? And the time nearing election. First of all, it's very easy to volunteer. We're called Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting or PPCRV. We are a national political but non-partisan lay movement across the country, no?
So, ngayon na palapit ng eleksyon, we have only a few days left. Meron na bang 500,000 volunteers at na-train na lahat?
Yes, malapit na po. Pero as everything else, Howie, we have never enough. When I made the call out, we had about 380,000 volunteers at that time. I'm sure we're nearing 500,000, but hey, we're gonna have 67 million registered voters, so we can never have enough volunteers.
So ano bang gagawin ng mga volunteers na to?
So you just go to your parishes and you will find a PPCRV coordinator there. Siguro isang taon na po tayo naghahanda, but this last few weeks are very critical. Doon po natin tinuturo ang mga gawain sa presinto. First of all, it's better to have volunteers in every precinct. This year po, we have 106,000 plus precincts across 37,000 voting centers. Napakarami niyan. And imagine, our voting time starts at 6 a.m. and it ends at 7 p.m. So hindi naman po pwedeng isang volunteer lang sa isang presinto. Medyo nakakapagod. So we have 2 or 3 shifts. And why is it important to be in the precinct? Because obviously, things can happen if there are no watchers in the precinct. Alam niyo, nagtatrabaho at naghahanda din ng ating mga guro. No? Hindi naman natin sinasabi na may hindi karapat-dapat na nangyayari. But for credibility, mas mabuti na rin na naandun tayo. Madaming ginagampanan. First of all, we have what you call the Voters Assistance Desk. Madami pong kabataan na nagsiset up ng mga desk na yan as allowed by COMELEC sa PPCRV. We help our voters find their precincts. Especially sa pandemic, gusto din naman nating makaboto sila at makaalis right away. Let's assume, for example, Howie, we have 560 voters. That are registered in that precinct. There will be exactly that amount of ballots, right, in that precinct. Now, in essence, after the election time, hindi naman siguro po lahat makakaboto. In most cases, at least, our turnout has been around 70 to 80% in the past elections. So, in essence, may matitirang mga ballots. You want to make sure those ballots are really destroyed at the end of the period. Kasi madali pong i-shade yan at ipasok sa VCM and therefore we have a problem, right? And there are other things that you want to watch out for. Normally, the people who are with us in the voting center belong to the community. So, mapagmamasdan din nila kung doon sa kanilang presintong binabantayan, may mga flying voters.
That's the reason why we have an automated system now is to reduce and even in some aspects eliminate yung human involvement. No? So machines are taking over a lot of these tasks. No? So we're assuming nga na the opportunities to cheat have maybe not eliminated, but maybe been reduced, but maybe there are new opportunities now. No? So what worries you most? What worries you most?
Well, what worries me most has not occurred yet. You know, what worries me most is, and with all due respect to other countries, no, is that people will not care about their democracy. I'm saddened, but by what I'm seeing in the U.S., where political parties destroying the credibility of their own election. That worries me. There's too much fake news in our own country and people begin to wonder if their votes are really counted. So alam niyo sa PPCRV, Howie, we spend a lot of time explaining the process of the automated system. And our unofficial parallel count is not just a count. It really assures the public na walang nangyayaring dagdag bawas. And I can speak a little bit about that. That worries me. International interference worries me. Our elections is ours and nobody should be affecting it. And you know, those are very hard to track, although we try. That worries me. Of course, the mindset of a voter when offered vote buying, that worries me because it hits on our core values as a country. So this keeps me up awake at night. On the automated part, we have such great technical minds in our PPCRV infrastructure. And of course, being a tech person.
Yeah, you yourself. I mean, you have come from the tech industry, you know, so you're quite familiar with the ins and outs of the system.
I can assure the public, hindi tayo naman na madami po tayong eksperto na from the source code review pa lang, how we were present na. So the source code review took about a month and a half or two. After the source code review, that code is embedded po sa basement ng Central Bank of the Philippines. So if there's anything major that happens, we have the original source code that is kept under lock and key. And of course, that source code has what you call a hash code that identifies that source code that's embedded sa VCM. So yung mga fake news na nagsasabi, may mga ghost VCMs or, you know, you can change the software after. There are ways naman po that we can watch out for that. And more importantly, since we are automated, there's always a way to forensic. Ano ba ibig sabihin nun? Pwede po nating i-audit. Kagaya nung pinag-usapan natin in 2019 sa 7-hour glitch. Lahat po ng equipment na yan ay may mga logs that will keep yung activity nila intact at makikita po natin kung may nangyari nga ba.
Hi, I'm Howie Severino. Check out the Howie Severino Podcast, an original for GMA News and Public Affairs. New episodes will stream every Thursday. Listen for free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms.